Hi, I'm Aditi Subbarao. I'm the Global Financial Services Industry Lead at Instabase. If we actually think of what constitutes an experience, you could break it down into three parts: who or what you engage with, the nature of the interaction, and what you feel at the end of that experience. Until now, banks have focused primarily on simplifying number two, which is the nature of the interaction. So if you look over the last few years, there have been huge investments in increasing ease of use and accessibility. So interestingly, what we're seeing happening now is that the focus of improving customer experience has shifted to the first and the third parts, which is whom are you engaging with and what are you feeling? What are they leaving you with? What are they doing for you after that interaction? We're seeing banks taking on a much more holistic role in the financial well-being of their customers. And their identity, their reason for being is changing from being pure lenders and safekeepers to taking on more responsibility and accountability to ensure overall financial health. So when you start a relationship with a bank, you are seeing more programs for digital enablement, how to plan and manage your finances, education around savings and investments. But now we come to the most important part, the third piece, which is what does your customer feel after an interaction with you? What does the bank want the customers to feel? The bank wants the customer to see them as a trusted advisor who has the customer's best interest at heart, even if sometimes it's not the same thing as the bank's best interest, and an advisor who is a part of their daily lives. So in order to achieve that, banks need to know exactly what their customer wants. And sometimes this is different from what the customer wants. They need to know exactly what their customers need. Has this customer just taken out a mortgage? Have they just bought a baby buggy? Maybe we need to make connections to a health insurance provider that can potentially insure children for free, and so on. So we are increasingly seeing that shift of focus in customer experience going from not just the interaction and the communication piece, but more to the overall engagement that a bank has with its customers. I think the biggest challenge in customer experience at the moment is that understanding of what your customers really need. And getting that understanding comes from being able to aggregate, access, and then interpret all the vast amounts of data about your customers, both financial and non-financial data from everywhere that it currently lives. It might be across the internet, across shared folders within your organization, across cardboard boxes with handwritten notes stored in your walls, everywhere. This is actually much trickier today than it was, say, even a decade ago. The financial landscape now it has a much broader type of customers with Generation Z and millennials and people with portfolio careers, serial entrepreneurs, and so on. So we've seen a massive boom in alternative assets, private assets, art, cryptocurrencies, you name it, and there's a market for it, which means that the kind of requirements that each of these types of customers have and the kind of product and services offerings that you might need to match off for them is just an exponentially more complex world today. So the change we're seeing happening across the asset management space, for example, is a great symbol of how banks and financial institutions are starting to think a lot more actively about customer experience across all different types of customers. And as you look at this landscape, it becomes critical to be able to use and harness all of that data and turn that into meaningful insights that you can take action on, that you can take decisions on, that you can then feed into improving your offering and the experience that your customers have with you. So unlocking that data is by far the biggest challenge that the sector faces at the moment. I genuinely believe that we are at the cusp of a massive change and a massive revolution happening in the space of customer experience. And it's interesting to say this because I know every part of banking, people talk about massive change and massive revolution, all dictated by technology. And that is actually true. But customer experience is a field which stands to benefit by far the most from the latest innovation in technology, and especially in the AI space. And the reason for that is, as I said, The key to unlock great customer experiences is understanding customer data. You can pull all the data you have about your customer, every transaction, every conversation they've had with your organization, combine this data with other data which might be available publicly, and come up with a detailed, personalized investment plan or retirement plan for them while they are on the phone with your relationship manager. And this single piece impacts all three parts of customer experience: what you are offering to them, who you are, how they are interacting with you. You know how often they want to be called, whether they want an email or a phone call, whether they want to use a chatbot, and so on. And you can completely influence what they feel at the end of that interaction. So I think the change that AI can bring in customer experience is by far the most exciting piece at the moment. So the biggest trend I see in 2024 in this space is the adoption of AI in customer experience by financial organizations. As we said before, accessing data and using that data to improve your customer experience is something that all banks are thinking about. But this year, the change that is likely to happen is that we will see it translate from experiments and exploration into more widespread usage in business as usual processes. The other encouraging aspect, which I expect to see a lot of this year, is a much stronger focus both by institutions and by regulators on considerations around safeguarding and safety. So we'll see a lot more investment and effort being put into ensuring data security, data privacy, consent from customers who are sharing their data or where that data is being used for further actions, and so on. And I think that is a big piece which still requires a lot of work, but will definitely enhance the benefits and the applications that AI can have in the space of customer experience overall.